This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Roger is being happy to see Alti tied up at the beginning of the video. All right, that took an interesting turn. All right, so I wasn't excited for Alti being tied up. Like, I love Alti. You guys know I love Alti, but the attraction for Alti isn't necessarily even like that. It's just, she's just a dope character. And, you know, it's more like Alti's my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a dope character, best Toby Ropo, but like, no, relax. Q&A, y'all know the vibes. We're getting into it. Chapter 1141 should be out this week, and so we're not gonna waste any time. Let's get to some questions. Good ones and bad, of course. So let's do it. In One Piece and our own world, dreams matter. Look at Kuina's dream to collect the Matos. It's certainly going to need willpower. But the point here is, for lofty dreams and goals, some aid is needed, and today's sponsor, Squarespace, could be just what you need. Squarespace is an amazing all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs and dreamers to stand out and succeed in the online space. It could be at the beginning of your journey or managing an established brand. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website to engage with the audience, or even sell products and even content. But that's not all. Imagine if Kuina used Squarespace to create a bounty website for the Mato. That would be through the help of Punk Records, of course, but this makes it at least attainable. Using 2 decades of design expertise, though, the AI technology is masterful at boosting your creative potential. Receive payments in just a few clicks and give your customers more ways to pay with methods like Apple Pay, even Afterpay. How do you do that? Well, you go to squarespace.com/B.D.A. law for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Phase_Venom6908 says, it's weird how the helmet got bleached with Luffy's transformation, yet his straw hat didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the straw hat has special powers, right? That's why we have one in Mary Joa. Like, they're all connected. They're like the moons. I don't know. Jinkun2629 says about the Roger versus Luffy argument. I think everyone can agree that if Luffy had just as much time as Roger, like 30 years of pirate life, he'd still be able to become Pirate King without any help. The same way as Roger. The problem is that we're reading a story and things have to progress constantly. We can't have Luffy reach Lodestar, realize what he was doing, that he was doing things wrong, and start the Grand Line all over again. Most people would drop the story at that point. That's why Luffy's journey is so fast. It's the limit of storytelling. But still, if Luffy became Pirate King in 2 or 3 years without any help, that'll make Roger look really bad. That's why Oda has Luffy get help from the Roger pirates. Luffy's fast-paced adventure makes more sense in universe when you know that they guided him. And more than anything, it's keeping respect on Roger's name. Plus, Luffy already fought way harder than Roger did to get the world poneglyphs, so it's not like they're being gifted to him either. Okay, this was a mouthful. What a mouthful. So Roger versus Luffy is an argument that's been going on for a long time, right? Because Roger's the Pirate King, Luffy's trying to become Pirate King. So the argument goes on, who is greater, who will be greater, etc., etc. I don't think Roger can compare to Luffy in regards to in-story things that he's done, specifically against the world government, like Luffy in that regard, that specific thing, going against the world government, as far as mind-blowing things that he did during his time. Enies Lobby, Impel Down, Marineford, like Luffy has done things that, not saying Roger couldn't, he just didn't do it. In regards to poneglyphs, Luffy had to fight for poneglyphs, beating Kaido, beating Katakuri, going against Big Mom in some way, right? I think the difference here, right? And I agree with Jinkun that Oda does have the, I guess, restriction of time. And so he has to let this journey progress in a way that's damn near unbelievable, right? The progress of all the Straw Hats, damn near unbelievable, because he's trying to get the story done, right? And personally, I think Oda should have done a better job of spreading out time in regards to things getting done. That could have been done easily, but it's like things are getting done in days, right? So that aside, Luffy's going to accomplish things further than Roger ever could. Now, let's say Luffy's been sailing for 30 years, right? Saying he become Pirate King without any help is ridiculous. Like, Luffy's not becoming Pirate King without any help, because Luffy fundamentally as a person is different than Roger. Roger wasn't trying to become the Pirate King. Roger was just sailing, and he was interested in history, interested in the world, interested in what was at the end of the line. And so Luffy isn't really interested in that. Luffy's interested in freedom, having fun. And so those specific things, those nuances would vary. So Luffy becoming the Pirate King is not even in his personality, right? As far as if he was the first one as opposed to Roger. Now, I do think Luffy will be greater than Roger when it's all said and done. However, people are saying Roger didn't have the powers established in regards to who he's going against, in regards to other pirates, other people going against the Poneglyphs. Roger was basically against himself. But here's the thing. Roger is somebody that is creating this, right? He's trying to figure things out. He's piecing things together, leaving messages here and there, going to Skypiea, going to Lodestar, and he's trying to figure things out. A trailblazer, one might say. Now, for Luffy, he's had, of course, a lot of help, even help from the Pirate King's crew. And again, if you take it out of story, I agree with Jinkun that Oda has to have some limitations. But if we just look at it for what it is, right? I think there are arguments for both parties and the difficulty of their journeys. For Roger, people are saying, well, the Yonko system didn't exist and he's just against himself. For Luffy, it's like, yeah, the Yonko system exists, but for the most part, you've benefited from the Yonko system as much as it's probably hurt you, where your benefactor is a Yonko, right? And you've had the aid of the Pirate King's crew. And so I think it's a good debate. But people even talk about the people Luffy's fighting in comparison to Roger would fight. They're like, well, Whitebeard isn't even chasing after the same thing. And it's no Yonko system. And it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, he still had the strongest Marine ever constantly going after him. Luffy doesn't have that, right? Luffy doesn't have a Marine that's specifically on his tail everywhere he goes, right? Not just Sengoku as well was going after him. So it's a good debate, but I do think but I don't think we should even bring up Luffy's fights in regards to fighting for the Road Poneglyph because Luffy's been aided in those fights as well. So I think it's going to be about accomplishments and what we see now. Once we see Roger's journey, I think it'd be a better way to assess it. But for right now, Luffy's greater, for sure. But I think people underestimate the difficulty of what Roger accomplished because they're like, oh, Roger didn't follow through with the mural, Roger L. And it's just, bro. They had the whole conversation or the blurb about Scopper protecting Roger while he was sick. Yo, how sick was this man? I'm just saying, let's just hold off till we see Roger's journey. But for right now, I understand. Luffy's strong. Luffy's greater, or will be, at least. JC Ball 2274 says, Scopper's performance this chapter makes me think higher of Oden because the mid-900s anime flashback showed Scopper and Oden sparring for like days on end when Whitebeard and Roger's crew clashed on that island. Yes, what happened in the flashback was that it showed Roger or Scopper and Oden sparring like a loading screen. And I don't know, I think Oden, in my opinion, if he was still alive, would be one of the strongest characters in the series. I'd argue top 3, top 2, maybe top 1, considering just how strong he was when he died and how much I think he could have grown. So Scopper doesn't really make me think any higher of Oden because how I feel about Oden is up here already, right? And then even that, it's anime original. Not saying it's not canon, but it's anime original, not in the manga. So, but I get it. 1993 Herman says, I'm not much of a power scaler, but are people forgetting Oden was a known member of the Roger Pirates? How does that factor in with Scopper and Rayleigh being the 2 monstrous fighters besides Roger? That's a good question, or that's a good statement. And in general, I would say Roger and his 2 wings are obviously the 3 monstrous fighters. I don't really look at Oden as a Roger pirate. I'm not gonna lie, Oden doesn't feel like a Roger pirate. Yeah, you could include him and it could be a technicality where, well, he sailed with them and did it. He doesn't feel like a Roger pirate. You guys can let me know if he feels like that. Even when I think about Oden, he feels like an add-on to get to a goal, right? He was just necessary for that. He doesn't feel like this person that was a Roger pirate that was under Scopper. No, it doesn't feel like that. And I'm not gonna lie. I think Oden's stronger than Scopper. I think Prime Oden is stronger than Prime Scopper. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, I mean, I guess could be the conversation that people somewhat have with with Sanji and Jinbei. I don't think it should be a conversation. I think Sanji's stronger than Jinbei, but the conversation is there. So maybe it's the same thing. Guys, let me know what you think. Amin Tarabif 1403 says, this is most likely Sanji or Usopp will activate Conquerors maybe in Elbaf or later in the series. Those are the 2. Those are the 2 that's left in the crew that could possibly activate Conquerors. Here's the thing. I think that sometimes I'm like, where there are a lot of Sanji fans that they want Scopper to have Conquerors Haki because by proxy, Sanji would then have Conquerors Haki. But I don't think it's needed. Now, for agenda purposes, if Sanji does have Conqueror's Haki, that, in my opinion, narrows the gap significantly in regards to him and Zoro. I even saw a conversation on Twitter this last week talking about Sanji, Zoro, Luffy, and that even though Sanji specializes in observation haki, that Zoro possibly has better observation than Sanji based on the feats. And it is, I understand the argument based on the things that Zoro has done, but Zoro, because you guys know how I feel about Zoro and Zoro's observation haki feats, because for me, I don't know if it's necessarily observation as opposed to reaction, because I think Zoro has probably the best, if not one of the best reaction speeds in the series. And so, but my thing is the why. Why would Oda, who's painted these two individuals, and again, not to be equals, that's not my argument, to be comparable, why would he have Zoro have Conqueror's haki, Sanji doesn't have Conqueror's haki, be better in armament clearly, than be better in observation? You know what I mean? That's my thing. That's my thing. And so I get it. But I don't think Sanji needs Conqueror's haki to compete with Zoro. I think just from their base and their goals, Zoro being stronger than Sanji is not crazy. It shouldn't be crazy. It shouldn't be a hot take. But Sanji being comparable, that's fair. I think the issue comes in when people try to say Sanji's stronger than Zoro, whatever. But Conqueror's haki is definitely possible for Sanji and Usopp. Uche Oniyebe F6W says gold, silver, copper, bronze. Didn't catch that till now. Not gonna lie. That's been a thing for a while, just around the community. I think before I came into the community, that's something that I caught on to, as far as gold, silver, Scopper. So, I mean, for some people, they're just getting into it. And I think that's the beauty of One Piece. And even shout out to Kev on stage as well, because Kev on stage, he just got to Marineford and he just got to Ace's death, and he's not taking it well. Not taking it well. So I even quote tweeted, I said, yo, the ASL flashback is about to destroy my guy. Just because if you feel this way about Ace's death, and then there are a bunch of reasons why Ace's death affected him that much, but if you feel this way about Ace's death because of Ace and his relationship with Luffy, how the heck are you gonna feel once you actually see the depth of their relationship and where they came from? Like I tell y'all, what broke me wasn't even Ace dying, because I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was real. Like, until like Ace fell flat on his face and he heard us, I didn't believe he was dead. I was like, all right, something gonna happen. Some doctor gonna come and fix him. When it hit me was the Don and Garp. That's what I'm like, because for a while I wasn't thinking about Luffy, right? I was just like, damn, Ace really gone, and then the Don brought it back into perspective. Like, so yeah, you know. I always enjoy seeing people watch One Piece and go through the emotions, especially when somebody starts almost reluctantly. Not saying Kev did this. Kev didn't do this. Kev was into it. But somebody that starts reluctantly, like, I guess I'll give One Piece a try. And then they bawling their eyes out because of a ship. Huh? Gotta love it. John Anani says Scopper will train Kid. I don't know. I don't think that's happening. I was thinking Kid could show up in Elbaf. He still could. I feel like I'm getting further and further removed from Kid and his story. And it's kind of like how I felt about Smoker. Smoker used to be one of my favorite characters in One Piece. He still is, but I'm talking about like high. And the further out that they decide to bring him back, because we saw him, he's on the way somewhere. It's just like my care, it falls, right? And then for Kid, it's the same thing, because ultimately, right? Kid comes back, what's the outcome? He's not going to be Pirate King. He's not going to, I don't know, who can he beat for us to be like, all right, Kid, good job. I don't know. So it feels like he would just come back to be a cheerleader and be bodies or a body for the final war. So I don't think he should be dead, but my expectations aren't high. Like there was a window, like if he came back, he was working with low key and then, yeah, but I don't see it now, y'all. I don't see it. Jimothy A. Stewart, 1829 said this was the first time Luffy ever suggested to jump someone they both knew the deal. If you don't include Kaido, I guess. But here's the thing. Like I said, Oda is always going to put respect on old men, old people in general. But these old guys, these old legends, Oda said it himself, I have a bias towards these old guys. People disrespect them, so in my story, I'm going to respect them. So it's not surprising. Now, do I think Zoro can beat Scopper? Yes. Do I think Luffy can beat Scopper? Yes. So, it's cool, right? And then hypothetical, man, Scopper pushed him to Gear 5 and Zoro. Nothing was about to happen. Nothing was about to. That old man was about to get folded up. Now it's not completely easy, but let's relax. Mr. Jose 9677 says Roger's crew wasn't just top 3. They went hand in hand against Whitebeard's crew that had multiple strong members. Roger's crew is probably closer to Shank's crew by comparison. Well, I don't think Whitebeard's crew is that strong. I don't think Whitebeard's crew is that formidable at all. I think outside of Oden, right? And Oden was not even what he was by the time he finished his journey. He was a lot weaker, is nobody. Everybody was young. Vista, Marco, Josu, they were teenagers. And Whitebeard's main guys was like B.D.A, Rockio, right? They're like, huh, who? Right, so Roger's crew is, I mean, I don't even look at Rocks as a crew necessarily, but I get it. But Roger's crew, it's not many up there with him. Now we can put Shanks up there with Roger's crew if we would like to, but until Ben Beckman shows us something, Lucky Roo and Yasop, let's relax. We've seen Rayleigh and Scopper in their old age do very, very impressive things. So let's relax with that. And as much as I enjoy Shanks' crew. Anthony's Great says, ain't no way anyone with a brain thought Ulti was stronger than Katakuri. That's wild. You know, sometimes the stories just tell themselves. There are a lot of people out there that felt that. I ain't gonna lie. There are a lot of people out there that felt that based on using power cliffing, etc., to justify it. But I've been saying, bro, power cliffing, you got to get it out of One Piece. All right, you got to get it out. The story, the characters are alive. The story is moving. The characters are thriving. Rob Lucci should be an example. Crocodile. I think just looking at these characters when they come back, they're going to be better. They're going to be stronger. So scale them as if they're still getting stronger. Why do we just think everybody's remaining stagnant even though these people are still active? I don't know. I don't know. And then, like, I think putting Ulti, who wasn't even the strongest Toby Roppo, clearly, putting Ulti over Big Mom's right hand. Like, if you want to put Ulti over Tracker, all right, that's crazy to me. But over Katakuri, she tanked. And I love Ulti. But, bro, this is different stratosphere. So it is funny though. Alib6936 says, not a trend. Just because one idiot YouTuber says power creep in their top 30 multiple times doesn't mean it's going around. People just saying how stupid it is doesn't give it credence, Brago. Here's the thing though. For somebody saying power creep, right? Or somebody saying something in regards to a term, right? It depends on who says it. And then if I say something is going around, that means I didn't see it in one place. I didn't see it in two places. I'm seeing it everywhere. And then going around, I don't know, I feel like this is just almost a useless response, because it's almost like somebody said, oh, nobody said Ulti was stronger than Katakuri. Just because an idiot says it doesn't make it true. It's just like you have no credence, or we don't know how many times I've seen it or who said it. And again, something going around also depends on who said it. And it's like if a big YouTuber says something and then their followers and subscribers start peddling the same things, you know, Reddit, Discord, Twitter. Yes, it's going around. Yes, it's being thrown around there, thrown around in the community way too much. It's going around. Like I feel like sometimes it's one of those things where it's like people try to dumb down certain things to their own personal experiences. Like nobody said that, Brago. Nobody said. Just one person said that. Shut the. I'm just saying. Mo posting Chad said Ulti's the best girl on the Beast Pirates. Honestly, I lean slightly towards Black Maria, but Ulti's a strong contender and she has a better color scheme and the adorable speech tick. Oh my God, is Ulti actually the better waifu? Wow. My mind just changed. That was just Mo showing love to Ulti. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Shout out to Ulti, man. Smuffgar says Scopper is probably not the man marked by flames, but at the minimum, he knows who it is and where to find him. He will provide the crew with a poneglyph if he is, or at least the next fitting path at the arc's end. Parallel to Rayleigh helping with the ship at Sabaody. I agree. I think he's either the guy or he's going to know where it is. Like I think it just makes a lot of sense, and it cuts the story not short, but it shortens it, where you don't have to go now look for the man marked by flames. Like it's Scopper, all right, cool. Two birds, one stone. We can now get to the final stuff, or the final stuff, depending on how you look at it. But either. Okay, that was a lot of comments. Thank you guys. Again, keep commenting so you can possibly get included. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Again, comment if you want to make videos. Make the videos, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments. You know, I wish I could respond to all of them. I was like, good. Why not? So yeah, like, subscribe. Again, thank my patrons. You know, my patrons coming through, showing love as always. Link in the description. If you want to become a patron and support, I appreciate it. But yeah, we catch you guys in the next one.